Lewisville City Council has called a bond election to be held Saturday, May 4, 2024, so voters can decide on a proposed debt issuance of $263.4 million to fund streets, parks, public safety, and animal shelter projects. Voters will be able to vote for or against each of the four ballot propositions. A majority of 4 votes is required for a proposition to pass. The May 4th ballot also includes Lewisville ISD bond propositions, Lewisville City Council, LISD School Board, and Denton Central Appraisal District races.
Proposition A.
The issuance of $6.7 million of general obligation bonds for city firefighting facilities and the levying of a tax sufficient to pay principal and interest thereon. Proposed projects include Fire Station Number 4 land purchase and fire department access at Lake Park.
Proposition B.
The issuance of $9.9 million in general obligation bonds for city animal shelter facilities and the levying of a tax sufficient to pay principal and interest thereon. Proposed project includes Jean Carey Animal Shelter and Adoption Center expansion.
Proposition C.
The issuance of $47.9 million in general obligation bonds for park, open space, and recreation improvements and facilities, and the levying of a tax sufficient to pay principal and interest thereon. Proposed projects include a 10-minute walk to a park, trails and walkability, Vista Ridge Park and Amphitheater, Lake Park redevelopment, Levee Improvement District trails, land acquisition for park and open space, and Castle Hills Trails Corridor.
Proposition D.
The issuance of $198.9 million in general obligation bonds for street and roadway improvements and the levying of a tax sufficient to pay principal and interest thereon. Proposed projects include Corporate Drive supplemental funding, Mackenzie Hembry Neighborhood Rehab Phase 2, South Keeley Avenue Phase 2, South Charles Street, Purnell to I-35E, Vista Mall Street Infrastructure, Purnell Street, Redbud Street Connection, Northeast Old Town Streets, and West College Street paving and drainage. Additional proposed projects for Proposition D include Lewisville Valley 4 construction funding, Lewisville Valley 1 construction funding, Huffines Boulevard Corporate Drive to Stonewell Drive, South Mill Street Phase 2, Valley Ridge Boulevard Extension, South Cowan Avenue paving and drainage, Meadow Glen Neighborhood Rehab Phases 1 and 2, and alley replacements.
How were the proposed projects selected?
A volunteer blue ribbon committee was formed in 2022 with 9 members, including former and current members of city boards and residents at large. They reviewed more than $1 billion in potential projects assembled by city staff and identified those projects that they felt were most important to present to Lewisville voters. Other potential projects are able to be funded entirely from other funding sources and therefore were not included as part of the bond program. The committee's recommended project list, project prioritization, and proposition amounts were unanimously approved by the City Council with no changes.
Would this increase our property tax rate?
It's estimated that the maximum increase in the property tax rate would be 1.5 cents over the next 10 years. That would equal about $4.39 per month for the median value home based on 2023 values. The City Council has set a goal of completing the bond package with a lower or no increase. Lewisville maintains one of the lowest property tax rates in North Texas. The current municipality property tax rate of 41.9079 cents per $100 valuation is the city's lowest rate since fiscal year 1986-87, when it was 40.95 cents per $100 valuation. None of the 3 most recent bond elections in Lewisville resulted in an increase in the property tax rate.
When would the listed projects be built?
This election is for a projected 10-year bond package. It's anticipated that all bond-funded projects would be started within the next 10 years. The actual schedule will be based on prioritization, workflow, and economic conditions.
Would every proposed project be built exactly as described in the city's education materials?
The list of proposed projects is based on current conditions, but those conditions could change. New funding sources could be identified to take the place of bond funds and allow other important projects to be added. The economy could slow down and lower priority projects get deferred. New development could cause some projects to become more or less urgent, or could add or remove projects from the list. In addition, the final design of some projects could differ from the preliminary concept drawings currently available. The list being presented to voters is based on what we know today and what we reasonably expect to see happen during the next 10 years.
How will the city account for future inflation?
The estimated costs for each project include a built-in inflationary factor of 9% annually to account for potential increases in the cost of materials, land, and labor.
What happens if the bond propositions are not approved by voters?
Certain projects on the list of proposed projects would have to be deferred until other funding sources could be identified. This could result in many of the listed projects not happening for many years, if at all. It also could mean that some projects move forward, but with a reduced scope. For example, ad hoc repairs on neighborhood streets instead of a full-scale renovation of the entire neighborhood. Early voting locations in Denton County. Frederick P. Herring Recreation Center, located at 191 Civic Circle. Thrive Recreation Center, located at 1950 South Valley Parkway. Denton County Administration, located at 701 Kimberly Drive in Denton, or any designated early voting site in Denton County. Early voting runs from Monday, April 22nd through Saturday, April 27th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, April 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Monday and Tuesday, April 29th and 30th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting for Dallas County residents. Coppell Town Center Atrium, located at 255 Parkway Boulevard in Coppell. The Elections Department, located at 1460 Round Table Drive in Dallas, or any designated early voting site in Dallas County. Early voting runs Monday, April 22nd through Friday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, April 27th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday, April 28th from noon to 6 p.m. and Monday and Tuesday, April 29th and 30th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Election Day is Saturday, May 4th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Polling places include the Castle Hills Community Center Banquet Room, located at 2501 Queen Margaret Drive, the Frederick P. Herring Recreation Center, located at 191 Civic Circle, Thrive Recreation Center, located at 1950 South Valley Parkway, and Dallas County Any Vote Center location, Dallas County residents only. If you have any questions about early voting or Election Day voting locations, please contact the Office of the City Secretary at 972-219-3404. For any further questions about the 2024 Lewisville bond election, please visit www.cityoflewisville.com/2024bonds or scan the QR code on your screen now.